Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For a moment of silence, please. Thank you. We're very excited. It's a exciting time for us to do some awards and some recognitions on tonight. So we're going to get started with recognitions and awards. We have Teachers of the Year, and we're going to ask Mr. Kevin Townsend if he would conduct that, please.
All right. Every spring, we are honored to be able to recognize our Teachers of the Year. The work they do in and out of the classroom is amazing, and none of it is ever done with a desire to be recognized. These teachers were selected by their peers for their unwavering support of students. Please help us recognize the Fssd Teachers of the Year. There's no drum roll? Okay, I was sorry. Candace Simpson of Franklin Elementary is the Fssd Teacher of the Year. And Brittany Martin of Freedom School is a middle school Teacher of the Year. All right, Elementary Teacher of the Year, Candace Simpson is a 13-year teaching veteran who has worked at Franklin Elementary for the past 4 years. To ensure her first grade students are successful, she creates a strong classroom culture, sets high expectations, makes observations, meets with the students, monitors data, communicates with the parents, and reflects upon formative and summative assessments. Ms. Simpson begins the day by allowing each student the opportunity to rate and share how they are feeling. This provides insight and answers many questions regarding the student's academic and social success. She believes trust is essential to create a safe learning environment for each child to reach their full potential. Ms. Simpson sets SMART goals to drive weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly data. The goals help pace her instruction and ensure each child is on track to meet or exceed grade level targets. Her work outside the classroom includes planning and implementing the school spelling bee, serving on the Sunshine Committee, participating on the RT12B team to support student behavior, serving as student leader and supporting other teachers as they plan, discuss data, set goals, and share ideas with student learning as the priority. That's Candace Simpson. Middle grades Teacher of the Year, Brittany Martin is a 6th grade science teacher at Freedom Intermediate School. She has 5 years of teaching experience, with the past 3 spent at Freedom Intermediate. Ms. Martin believes in teaching the whole child and begins each day by creating a small emotional connection that demonstrates character skills for students to carry with them throughout their academic day. With science context specifically, her classroom focuses on self-reflection of academic work and collaborative learning. By spiraling her content as well as using collaborative group learning, open-ended questioning, scaffolding to meet the needs of all students, her content area received a TVAAS effectiveness level score of a 5 for the 2020-2021 school year. As an advisor to the FIS Building Council, a student leadership club, Ms. Martin helps students plan and organize events for the school and the community. She is also her school's United Way campaign representative and helps organize an annual canned food drive through the Darrell Waltrip Drive Away Hunger Challenge. She helps plan a school-wide bonfire, a Valentine's Day Candygram fundraiser, a fourth grade tours for upcoming students to FIS, and a summer boot camp for rising fifth graders. Each of these events are planned in order for students and parents to feel welcome and supported, just as she does for all her classes each day. That's Brittany Martin. And yes, there's more. FSSD Building Level Teachers of the Year. The FSSD Teachers of the Year were selected from a talented and well-respected group of educators who were selected as their school representatives. In addition to Mr. Bourne and Mrs. Boyd, they are, and when we call your name, please come on up here. Johnson Elementary, Kara Kendall, deaf educator. Liberty Elementary, Melissa Luch, second grade teacher. Moore Elementary, Bruce Coberly, school counselor. Poplar Grove Elementary, Kaylin Gilly, music teacher. Poplar Grove Middle, Jenny Nash, special education teacher. Freedom Middle, Randy Stevens, social studies teacher. For the past 11 years, Cornerstone Financial Credit Union has demonstrated its support of our district's mission of excellence in teaching and learning for all by providing the full cash award of $500 to the FSSD Teacher of the Year and $100 each to the Building Level Teachers of the Year. The credit union's generosity and support of our extraordinary teachers is appreciated. And with us today, we have representatives from the bank. And I can read it. Brendan Olson, Business Development Officer, and Jenny Us. By the way, it's not spelled that easy for those who thought, he can't read us. Jenny Us, Assistant Branch Manager. Please come on up here and give all these teachers a hand.
Thank you. We are so proud of you all, and thank you for representing Franklin Special. At this time, we'll ask Mr. Stillings if he would do the next presentation.
Good evening. It's my honor to introduce to you the Franklin Special School District Principal of the Year. Miss Amy Patton, would you come forward, please? Miss Patton, I want to say some really good things about you. So congratulations to Mrs. Amy Patton who was selected as the 2022 Fssd Principal of the Year. Mrs. Patton is in her 3rd year as principal at Liberty. In her 3 short years as Liberty's school leader, she has shepherded the school through the global pandemic with both virtual and in-person learning, a huge full school renovation, emphasis on huge and full school, and the successful process of becoming a national blue ribbon school. In addition, during her time as principal, Liberty has been named an RTI 2B model of demonstration school by the Tennessee Tiered Support Center, and it continues to practice the protocols put in place as a Tennessee Department of Education trauma-informed school. Mrs. Patton fervently places Liberty's many successes in the hands of her dedicated faculty and staff, as well as a very supportive PTO and parent volunteer corps. One area that was very important to Mrs. Patton to strengthen at Liberty was the use of the PLC as a time of true collaboration that focuses on planning, intervention, and the sharing of best practices. She built a framework to support the PLC process using norms, focused agendas, a thorough analysis of Tier 2 academic interventions, and the refinement of fidelity and progress monitoring procedures. As a result, Liberty's growth, student growth, has accelerated, and the school was named a 2021 Tennessee Reward School. Her staff appreciates the relationships that Mrs. Patton takes time to build, and they consistently meet the high expectations that they create together as a school community. She underscores the staff's commitment to a healthy school environment where care, concern, and support are the standard. While the work schools do each day for children is serious business, Mrs. Patton also believes it's important for everyone to have fun and to find joy in that work as well. So we are very proud to have Amy Patton represent the FSSD in the Regional Principal of the Year program. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. And for our next recognition, Supervisor of the Year, we would like to congratulate Ms. Amy Fisher as the Supervisor of the Year. Congratulations to Ms. Fisher, FSD Nursing Supervisor, who was selected as the 2022 FSD Supervisor of the Year. Ms. Fisher was selected based on her superior ability to manage and motivate students and faculties, evoke high standards, demonstrate a commitment to excellence, implement innovative programs, and assist and support the district in developing a track record of exceptional gains in student learning. Ms. Fisher's service began in the FSD in 1995 as a volunteer for 10 years with her children's school. In 2002, she became a substitute nurse and 3 years later accepted a position as a full-time nurse at Johnson Elementary. Thank you. In 2009, she became the district nursing supervisor. She is responsible for developing a comprehensive guideline and procedures manual for all FSD nurses whose roles have expanded significantly and who have become integral and crucial parts of the school's educational teams. During COVID, Ms. Fisher led the district and school-based response efforts focusing on student, staff health so that both in-person and virtual learning options could occur. She developed protocols, procedures that provided a safe environment for all in the face of an overwhelming pandemic. In large part because of her leadership, our schools have been able to remain open for in-person learning this entire school year. In fact, the health department asked Ms. Fisher to share the FSD success with other school districts who were struggling during this time. Her ability to communicate effectively with compassion has benefited our district by preserving the important relationships that we build with our staff, families, and community members. We're so happy to have her represent us as 2022 Supervisor of the Year. Again, thank you all. We're so proud every year to be able to do this, and you just make us proud as a board to have you represent us and our students and all who are involved in the Fssd family. So thank you again. And thank you to Cornerstone for always being there for us. Kevin wants his check. He'll see you at the back afterwards. You already took care of it? All right, good. At this time, we'll do public input, if there is anyone here for public input. Seeing no one for public input, we'll declare it's closed. Before we get into our reports and discussions, if there's anyone who wants to leave, you may do so.
Mass accident.
All right, reports, presentations, and discussions, teaching and learning. Decker?
Thanks so much, sir. It is my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity to present information about our iReady resource and the way in which our extremely hardworking teachers, administrators, and students have made the most of it. iReady Math is a digital component of our mathematics core adoption for grades K through 8. And we have also implemented iReady ELA in grades 3 through 4 as a supplemental resource. Before the district-wide iReady Math rollout, we were very mindful about the process of piloting it for 2 years in specific grade levels only at a limited number of schools. The data gathered from this endeavor confirmed iReady's impact on student achievement and teacher efficacy, as did linking studies conducted by its publisher, Curriculum Associates. The findings of these studies, including a very recent one that actually incorporated Fssd-specific data, show a high correlation between iReady diagnostic scores and TCAP results. And included in your report is a chart demonstrating this information. So why did we select iReady? It is 100% aligned to the Tennessee academic standards, and the platform creates a personalized learning path of lessons for each and every student based on the results of diagnostic assessments administered by teachers 3 times a year. The content is rigorous, motivating, targeted, and challenges students to not only reach proficiency, but to excel. The instruction aligns with best practices, and teachers have the autonomy not only to intervene as indicated, but to adjust and/or add lessons as needed. Research shows that students who work in their iReady path an average of 45 minutes per week show significantly more growth than students who do not. So this piece is a cornerstone of our implementation. Also key to the positive impact of iReady on student learning is ongoing, personalized professional learning and a continuing cultivation of a district data culture. Both during the 21-22 school year and currently, we have been extremely pleased to see that through the dedication and hard work of our teachers and school administrators and the support of our parents, Fssd students have achieved outstanding progress in math. This is despite the most challenging circumstances educators have ever encountered. You'll see in your report a visual that illustrates Fssd student progress from the fall of 2021 to winter 2022. Ideally, a grade level will fall in the top right quadrant, indicative of both high achievement and high growth. And as you can see, all our grade levels, K through 8, are in that quadrant. Thanks to the results born of a commitment to optimal student learning, Curriculum Associates selected the Fssd as one of their iReady Math Success Spotlights. I hope that if you haven't already, you might have a chance to read the story below of this recognition that celebrates our incredible students and educators who persevered and continue to do so, in the most difficult of times and continue to keep learning at the forefront. Thank you.
Any questions for Dr. Decker? No? Thank you. Ms. Slinger?
Good evening, everyone. You have before you in your board packet the latest update of the bond-funded projects that we have. We have, I believe it's 5 major projects currently taking place right now, and I'll just open the floor for any questions or anything you want to clarify about these projects. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, a targeted completion date for the PAC and a walkthrough for the board, perhaps?
A final walkthrough?
Not in the context of the construction, but just an advanced preview of the building after
Sure.
it's been completed.
I don't know if we have a specific date. We're looking to mid to late April for a completion of the PAC. There probably are some variables that may play the role in when the keys are actually handed over to the Fssd. But we can certainly arrange that as well at some point.
Okay.
Also to, if you will place it on your calendar at this point, we plan to have a ribbon cutting, grand opening celebration of the PAC on May the 20th. That's a Friday, I believe, at 3 p.m. So I know many of you have regular jobs you have to attend, so maybe with this early announcement you might can fit that in your schedule. May 20th at 3 o'clock. Isn't that right, Dr. Esslinger?
Yes, sir.
Jeremy? 3:30? Sorry. Well, you know, I did that on purpose.
They're welcome to come at.
No.
They're welcome to come at 3 o'clock.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the bond funding project update?
Thank you, sir. Dr. Snowden, COVID updates?
Yes, we were pleased to find out at the end of, before we went to spring break, we had no cases. And I don't know about today, but I hadn't heard of any, so that's great. We hope that continues.
All right. Any questions for Dr. Snowden? All right, thank you, sir. All right, moving on, approval of board agenda. Is there a motion?
Excuse me, before we do a motion, I would like to, if the board will, to add item 6 under business before the board. That will be process for acceptance of offers, for Fssd property sales. Process for acceptance of offers for Fssd property sales. That will be item number 6. With that change, we recommend approval.
I make a motion to approve with the recommended change.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda. Motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, is there a second? Mr. Townsend? All in favor? Thank you. Business before the board. Dr. Snowden, we have a resolution.
Yes, resolution that is one of the board members, you going to read? Okay.
Resolution of the Franklin Special School District Board of Education requesting no legislative action on HB 2833, SB 2168. Whereas HB 2833 and SB 2168 have been filed for introduction in the current Tennessee legislative session and include various changes and additions to laws concerning charter schools, and whereas said changes include reducing timelines for review and approval of charter school applications from 90 to 75 days, adding a provision for charter schools to choose to use a school building that is at or below a 50% LEA usage, funding changes related to facility use and other provisions reducing local LEA decision-making, and whereas the current review time for charter school application already demands prompt attention in order to complete an appropriate review. School buildings are not designed for common areas such as offices, gymnasiums, libraries, hallways, etc., to have two separate schools with two administrations applying different rules and schedules, and the proposed legislation does not anticipate growth in a LEA's enrollment demand, and any funding changes proposals are not timely given the anticipated proposals for replacement of the BEP funding formula. And whereas the proposed legislation reduces local decision-making on issues that are best made by local elected bodies with knowledge of local conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Franklin Special School District Board of Education urges the General Assembly and committees or subcommittees considering HB 2833 and SB 2168 to take no action advancing said proposed legislation approved by the board and signed this 21st day of March 2022.
I'll second.
Motion, Ms. Stilling, second, Ms. Bell. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Dr. Snow?
Yes, item number 2, Nabholz JES Johnson Elementary School kitchen renovation expansion and also Johnson Elementary School roof. Provided for your considerations are document A133-2019, the standard form of agreement between owner and construction manager at risk, Nabholz Construction Services with John Strack as principal. Also document A201-2017, general conditions of the contract for construction, as well as document A133-2019, Exhibit B, insurance and bonds. These documents provide an estimate of $2,073,931 for the kitchen, and Nabholz will continue value engineering to develop a guaranteed maximum price. At this point in time, we continue to evaluate our options on the roof projects due to the current market conditions. At this point, we recommend approval of this contract.
Sir, is there a motion to approve? Ms. Snowden? Ms. Barker, any discussion?
I just had a question that I had asked about the roof. Like, are there options to not do the roof at this time, or is it something that needs to be done ASAP?
Well, the roof does need to be done in the near future. The question, we're getting some evaluations of the roof to determine whether it can be put out another year. It can't be put out another 2 years. We are spending quite a bit of repair money on that roof, as well as Franklin Elementary's roof. But we are looking at different options as to possibly how to reduce cost, as well as pricing the roof work in the market today to get a realistic number. As you probably can tell, when oil prices go up, rubber goes up, and other industries are affected. So with the market the way it is right now, we just put a pause on going forth all gung-ho about it, because the numbers that we're hearing are quite significant. So we're kind of just putting a pause on that right now and looking at other options.
Any other discussion? Let's have a roll call vote. Ms. Newman?
Yes.
Ms. Stillings? Mr. Blair, yes. Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Ms. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
It is approved. Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 3, Crowlike Realtors and Magley Realty contract ratification. The board-appointed committee of Mr. Stellings, Dr. Esslinger, and me negotiated the real estate agency agreements with George Friedman of Crowlike and Tom Magley of Magley Realty, and are now requesting the board to ratify the agreements. In addition, legal counsel reviewed the agreements, and also changes were made based on recommendations of the legal counsel, and also by Mr. Stillings. Of course, we had a committee, but I can't say enough about Mr. Stillings and his expertise and his help in this process. Dr. Esslinger and I are certainly not in the real estate business, and So we learned a lot. We learned a lot from Joyce and Tom, but we also learned a lot from Mr. Stillings. And without Mr. Stillings on that committee, we would have been lost in many occasions. So I did want to recognize and thank him for his service on that committee. We request ratification of the contracts, the agreements with these realtors.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion? Move to accept. Mr. Stillings, second.
I'll
Ms.
second.
Bell. Any discussion?
I just have one comment. Thank you, David, for that. But negotiating this agreement, a lot of people involved, but I would specifically like to thank Joyce and Tom with Crylike and with Bagley Realty, because they understand the position we're in as a public entity, and they've worked with us on every single item that we needed for them to work with us on. So thank you very much, guys, and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
I just had a question as I was looking over it. We have 6, will we end up having 6 different listings? Each thing will be sold different. Yeah, even though someone might want to purchase more than one of them, they're each being sold individually. Okay. So make sure I understood that.
Any other discussion? Have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Mr. Blair, yes. Mr. Stillings?
Yes.
Ms. Newman?
Yes.
We're approved. Thank you. Dr. Snowden?
Item number 4, policy revision, teacher tenure 5.117. This is a second reading. This policy update removes number 6 under additional guidelines for earning tenure, a background check within 6 months prior to tenure being granted. State law requires all employees to be fingerprinted at least every 5 years of employment with the school district. That's TCA 495-413. Additionally, the Fssd Board Policy 5.108 states that current employees shall report being charged with any criminal offense to their immediate supervisor within 72 hours of the offense. Removing the background check requirement from the tenure policy will allow all employees to complete their background checks on a 5-year rotation throughout their employment with the school district, while eliminating the potential for duplicate checks in the same year based on our current policy, in adherence to both the 6-month from tenure and the 5-year check as required by law. Upon first reading, 2 items were requested to be considered by administration. First, since tenure comes at the 5-year mark of district employment or just after the 5-year mark, the administration requests that the duplicity of background check is removed from the policy. Second, the steps that are required to attain tenure in Fssd are, we think, completely or very thorough, and are requested to remain as is without anything additional. We certainly understand and appreciate discussions related to possibly adding additional criteria for the earning of tenure by Fssd teachers. We have discussed the tenure process with administrators and our HR supervisor to determine possibilities. After discussions, we strongly believe the current tenure process, as I said, thorough and is also demanding. What we don't discuss during the tenure presentation with the board is how much emphasis is placed on the principals and assistant principals to use the evaluation process to coach and mentor teachers new to the Fssd to ensure, or new to the Fssd, whether they're new teachers completely without any experience or those with experience, to ensure they are meeting the high expectations. We do have individuals who are not successful in meeting the high expectations, so they're either non-renewed or leave prior to that time of tenure, or prior to the time of their non-renewal. Some data to demonstrate the rigorous process of earning tenure are: in 2016, 24 teachers were hired. The number granted tenure was 8. The others were non-renewed or chose to resign. In 2017, 39 teachers were hired. 4 have earned tenure and 14 are on track to earn tenure. So as you can see by this data, the process is very thorough and comprehensive, and only the very best earn and are recommended for tenure in the Fssd. The administration recommends approval of the second reading.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Ms. Bell, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Townsend, any discussion?
Just a comment. I was the one who raised the questions on the last meeting about tenure, and the additional commentary you provided was extremely helpful. And it does seem that our tenure process is very thorough and demanding. And that's what is required. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Have a motion? Motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. Snow?
Yes, item number 5, policy revisions, board member legal status 1.102. This is a first reading. Updates to this policy have been sent by TSBA Director of Policy and Staff Attorney based on House Bill number 72, the state law on partisan school board elections. While this law does not currently impact every district, state law allows school board elections to be conducted on a partisan basis if at least one county primary board or political party opts in. Previously, state law has prohibited school board members from being elected on a partisan basis. Our current policy has policy language that reflects that prior requirement. Also, one change has been made. Dr. Barker asked over the weekend about line 15 and 16. Initially, we had removal from the district which elected him or her, and removal from the school system. We had struck that part of the line 15 and 16. So we've reinstated it reads now, vacancies shall be declared to exist on account of death, resignation, moving out of the district, or through due process proceedings. So with that change, we recommend approval of first reading.
Yes, sir. Is there a motion to approve the changes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Ms. Newman, is there a second?
A second.
Ms. Barker, is there a discussion?
So I'm asking, are we leaving in the line that is in red now, or we're taking that out? The removal from the district which elected him, that's staying out?
That's staying out.
Okay.
And just adding back I'm sorry, yeah. And then instead of saying removal from the school system, removal sounded, moving out of the district, I think is much more,
That's what that meant?
yes.
Okay. I would like to say on the record that I'm disappointed that we have to change this policy.
And I second that.
I
Very
think we all
disappointed.
are, we all agree.
I never thought that this would, yeah. I've always enjoyed the fact that it's a non-partisan election, so.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? Thank you.
Oh, one opposed.
Oh, okay. Carol? You got it. Thank you. Dr. Snow?
Yes. A visit to Columbia State Community College. A visit for our 8th graders March, I'm sorry. I went right past item number 6. I'm too focused on this agenda before adding item number 6. Item number 6, the process for acceptance of offers for Fssd property sales. And speaking with legal counsel today, he recommends, number one, he feels and suggests that the board may want to consider keeping the current committee, Mr. Stillings, Dr. Esslinger, and myself, to communicate with our realtors, Mr. Magley and Ms. Friedman. And then there are 2 other possibilities related to, if we keep the committee as it is, then the committee could take those offers and then make a recommendation to the board at the next board meeting for the board's approval. He also said there's another process where the board would have to give authority to the committee to tentatively or to accept an offer but not have it finalized. That would be contingent upon board approval at the next meeting. So I guess you have some choices there whether or not you want to keep the committee to allow that communication with the realtors. And then on the process, do you want the committee, if we're going to keep the current committee, do you want the committee to bring those offers and make a recommendation? Or do you want the committee to have the authority to accept an offer contingent upon approval by the full board? So that's that's our choices or option. Those are options. You may have another option, but I think to have those offers, and we anticipate successful, very high-end offers from our realtors. We know they're going to do a great job, and we're going to have some folks that want to spend a lot of money for that property. So that's open for, I mean, that's the item, so open for discussion, ideas.
We'll get a motion in a second, then we'll discuss.
Should we have more
Yeah.
than one? I'd like to make a motion that we just keep the current real estate committee. Can that be decided first, and then we can do another motion to decide how we want them to proceed?
Sure.
Yeah, make a motion to keep the current real estate committee of Mr. Stillings, Dr. Esslinger, Dr. Snowden.
Have a motion and a second on that. All in favor of that? That's approved. Now,
Do you want to make that second motion, or?
Well, sure. I'll make a motion that I think that we can give them the authority to accept offers contingent on board approval at the next meeting.
I'll second that.
How about, sorry for the late interjection, but negotiate and tentatively accept pending a contingent upon approval.
Yeah.
I think if we have that word negotiate in there, that would be helpful.
And I'll second that with changes.
okay, who's doing the motion? You or?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say it again. Motion to grant the real estate committee the authority to negotiate and accept offers on the properties contingent on board approval at the next meeting.
Yes, that's good.
And second,
And I'll second that.
Ms. Bell. Any other discussion? All in favor?
No, I was just going to say, I think this is prudent because generally offers, there's a time-sensitive window with that, so appreciate that.
Any discussion?
Do we think this is going to be a fairly quick process? Do we have an idea about that?
We hope so. And I think both of our realtors hope the same thing and project possibly the same thing. So we'll see.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. Dr. Snowden, record school.
Now then, I'll say, sure.
Depending on the timing of when we receive and accept an offer, we may consider doing a special call meeting.
Yes.
So I think, not a regular scheduled meeting if a special call meeting is required.
I think
I
that's
agree.
smart, in case you get an offer the day after a meeting. Don't want anyone to have to wait a whole month.
Yeah,
But then again, we have some notification requirements.
Yes.
yeah.
Part of the understanding.
But it's a lot less than a month. Like,
Yeah, it could be.
That framework of being able to have a meeting.
you got it.
Okay, now to the Director of Schools report. Our 8th graders on March the 7th and 8th visited Columbia State Community College. It was a very successful visit. We are so appreciative to the many teachers, administrators, and members of the teaching and learning team who helped chaperone that event. Additionally, we're so grateful for Dr. Lampley and the Columbia State instructors and staff who worked to make this important opportunity available for our students. We had a very nice email received from Dr. Lampley, and they're looking forward to hosting our 8th graders again next year, so that will be in our plans. It's always a great experience for our students to be on a college campus, and especially one that's right here in our community. Fssd Recruitment Fair will be this Saturday from 9 to 11, both in person at Freedom Intermediate and also virtually. We're currently recruiting for full and part-time jobs for both the current year as well as next year. Staff EZ will be on hand this year to recruit for substitute teachers. School administrators, department supervisors, and the HR department will be on hand to give information about their needs. Salary and benefits package information will also be available. Information is posted on our website as well as on our social media and on yard signs. Our Human Resources Supervisor will continue recruiting throughout the area as well as reaching out to the universities in addition to our local event. And I've just got to add this. We all know the work that Ms. Duke is doing and how hard she's recruiting. And but I had Dr. Treadway today. We were at his school for our staff meeting, and he mentioned that two individuals that Ms. Duke has recruited, that he's interviewed, excellent candidates, and so we really appreciate the efforts of Ms. Duke and the folks in her office for really going out and beating the bushes, so to speak, and finding high-quality candidates for the Franklin Special School District. So we hope we have a lot of interest this Saturday. If you'd like to come out and welcome and join, we would welcome you if you have opportunity Saturday morning. The spring holiday is April the 15th. This is a district holiday. All offices will be closed. The district retirement celebration will be May the 5th. This year's celebration will have a reception beginning at 5 and a program beginning at 6 at Freedom Intermediate. We look forward to celebrating our retirees. Young Scholars Institute will be held the weeks of June the 6th through the 10th and 13th through the 17th. Registration has opened for the 2022 camp for independent and highly motivated students who have completed 1st through 8th grade. I believe Ms. Carlton told us this morning there were at about 200 and... We're actually over 300 now already. And it just opened March 11th, so that's great. And that camp will be hosted again this year at Freedom Intermediate. No. That camp is at, yeah, that's right. Summer Learning Camps is a different location. Summer Learning Camps, planning for these weeks is well underway. Along with the in-depth planning for each day, administrators are currently having the task of identifying students who would benefit most, and teaching and learning is accepting teachers and staff for that camp. And that summer learning camp, or those summer learning camps, will be at Poplar Grove, both the elementary end and the middle school end for the upper grades. Our therapy dog program, we're excited to announce the addition of 2 additional dogs. We will be receiving Bella to be at Poplar Grove Elementary and Wilson to be at Freedom Middle School, expected to be given to our handlers April the 2nd. Both are coming from Retrieving Independence and will be fully trained facility dogs. Freedom Middle, the dog we had there, we had gotten from the shelter and just didn't work out with the training, and the trainer felt like, and we believe that was not going to be the best fit for our students and our faculty at FMS. So we are looking forward to having Wilson there, and then Bella will give us a therapy dog or facility dog for both Poplar Grove Elementary and Poplar Grove Middle. Dr. Erickson was pleased to have Alma, but she would like a little more opportunity for a therapy dog at Poplar Grove Elementary. So we're looking forward to adding those 2. Our budget process for fiscal year 22-23, the proposed dates for budget work sessions are April 18th, May 16th, and June the 20th. The first session will concentrate on the operations budget for both finance and administration and teaching and learning. Revenue and personnel will be the focus in the second work session. Third work session will review the cumulative impact of the budget work from the first 2 sessions and also facilitate the possible completion of the budgetary process. Please review those dates and let Carol know if there are any conflicts. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any updates from teaching and learning?
Nothing additional, sir. Thank you.
Finance and administration?
Yes, your packet contains the monthly HR and financial reports for your review. As you know, the sales tax collection report provides month-to-month comparisons for the past 3 years. So far this year, we've enjoyed significant double-digit increases in our collections compared to the same time periods from 2021. However, March 22 collections are only 1.6% greater than March of 2021. Don't know what that says. That's just the fact of the matter. Collections are still up from the year, 14.6% year to date.
up. Any announcements from board members? Comments? Townsend. All right. If not, we are adjourned. Thank you.